So we've got this whole situation now where they are coming after Joe Biden. They came after him first for the handsiness. That didn't take him out of the race. So now they're going after his race relations. I don't know if this will do it, but it just shows to me how split the Democratic Party is.
Well, I don't think it really matters who the Democrats put up, but let's go to the source to find out, because I'm delighted to introduce two outsiders. He's the vice chairman of the Republican Party in Florida. He was there at Donald Trump's launch of his 2020 campaign. He was sitting right in one of those front rows, and he's been an advisor and right in the Trump camp, going way back to even before we on this show were rooting for Donald Trump, which was back in 2016. I'm delighted to welcome two outsiders, Christian Ziegler. How are you, Christian?
I'm doing very well. I appreciate you guys giving me the opportunity. This should be a great discussion. Good opening. It sounds like I'm amongst friends tonight.
You certainly are. And as I said to you, we've got Donald Trump there with Ronald Reagan on our desk, with Winston Churchill and Margaret Thatcher. So we're in great company. Now, tell us quickly about yourself and what the launch was like. You were at the launch the other day. What was it like?
I was. Well, first, it was exciting to have it here in the state of Florida. Obviously, Florida is a key battleground state. So I think Donald Trump picked this state on purpose. He went in the heart of Florida, which is the I-4 corridor, the Orlando area. And that's where he did his official kickoff. Now, there were 125,000 people registered to get inside. Unfortunately, the venue only held 25,000. Now, 25,000 out of 125,000, let me just tell you, this does not happen in American politics. We do not get these kind of crowds. I think they said, and it sounds like a joke, but it was probably accurate, there were more people in line for the bathroom at the Trump rally than there were at the Biden kickoff rally. So it was energetic. The energy's high. People are excited. This president's done a great job, and everyone's ready to get together and work and ensure his reelection.
Christian, the polls at the moment aren't looking great for Trump. Those who don't know the history of polls at this time of the presidency are getting all excited and saying it's all over, he's going to lose 2020, it doesn't matter who he's up against. What do you say to those people?
Look, let's go back to 2016 on Election Day. The New York Times, they gave Hillary Clinton a 92% chance to win that election on Election Day. And we saw what happened. We're talking 92%. That's insane. Now, that's on the poll side. So I really don't believe these polls. And let me just give you a little bit of context. Is right now I make it a point that anytime I'm not in a suit or at a meeting, I will throw on my Trump hat. I'll throw on a Trump T-shirt. I'll run my errands. I'll go to the store. And what I'll tell you, this happens to a T everywhere, is I'll walk into a store. Someone will look at me. They'll kind of give me two takes. They'll look around their shoulder. And then they come up to me and they say, "Hey, I love your hat. Good job. I support the president." But they say it under their breath, because here in America, what's happened is if you are a Donald Trump supporter, you immediately get ostracized and attacked because the media is on a full frontal assault. And unfortunately, that bleeds down to the public. So there is a lot of Trump support that goes unmeasured because of that factor.
Christian, we just saw a similar effect in our federal election here, where Scott Morrison won despite everyone saying he would lose. I was the only person on media who said that Scott Morrison would win, as I was one of the very few people with my colleagues here who said that Donald Trump would win. You have been Donald Trump's media surrogate. Tell us what that involves, and tell us a little bit about the Donald Trump that you know.
Yeah, so in 2016, I was tapped to be a media surrogate for his 2016 campaign. Now with my role with the party, my job is basically just to go out there and get the Donald Trump message out there. He's done a fantastic job. You look at the economy has never been stronger in America. We have the lowest unemployment ever. We have the lowest African-American unemployment ever, lowest Hispanic unemployment ever, lowest unemployment for females in something like 71 years. America's booming, and it's because of Donald Trump and his policies. So my job is just to go out there and go on shows like this, go speak around the state of Florida and get the message out. I'll tell you, Donald Trump, to kind of pivot a little bit, in 2015, I had an opportunity to spend a couple hours with him before he announced, about a month before he announced, he came to Sarasota, Florida, where I live. And the guy is a genuine, great guy. I've been around a lot of politicians. Only about a handful have been really legitimate, very nice, very caring. And that's behind the cameras when he's amongst friends. obviously he has his guard up when he's tweeting or on the camera because the media is so ruthless. So Donald Trump's a great guy, and he's doing great things, and I'm excited to reelect him in 2020.
James.
Christian, one thing that I've heard some concern about, though, is the immigration policies. Just this morning in Australia, we had the news come across that the planned deportations and ICE raids weren't going to happen. The border is still not under control, and there hasn't been a lot of that wall that he promised built. Is there a concern that some of his base might bleed away from him at the next election, not turn out because this still hasn't been controlled?
No, look, I mean, obviously you would worry about that at the beginning, but when you really think about it, no one has been louder across America. No one has been demanding the wall more than Donald Trump. He's done everything he can in the office of the presidency to get this wall built. He's moving money around. He's trying to pass bills through Congress. And Democrats, they're stopping and they're trying to resist at all points possible, to the point where they're saying some of his actions are so aggressive that they may not be constitutional. So Donald Trump is out there. He's fighting it. He's the one guy in Washington that's fighting. And let's not forget, for decades, the politicians, the failed politicians in Washington, have been pushing to get this wall done when they go and campaign. But then when they go to Washington, they don't get it done. Well, Donald Trump's in Washington. He got elected to build the wall, and he's fighting to build the wall. And he's going to continue to fight for that to happen until it gets done. And I'll tell you, there has been some progress, but he has been limited because Democrats in Congress are refusing to work with the president.
Now, I want to mention some of the crazies on the Democrat side. What's her name? Alexandra Ocasio-Cortez and Ilhan Omar. We've got a quick clip here of Alexander Cortez basically talking about concentration camps, which has been very controversial. We'll just have a quick listen, Christian.
The United States is running concentration camps on our southern border. And that is exactly what they are. They are concentration camps. The fact that concentration camps are now an institutionalized practice in the home of the free is extraordinarily disturbing.
So, Christian, we see a lot of her. Give us your thoughts on her, but also who would Donald Trump like to be up against in 2020?
Look, AOC in that clip, it would be laughable to say that we should take her seriously. I'm almost convinced that we are actually, the Republican Party and the Trump campaign has her on the payroll, because every time she goes live,
love it.
Really, every time she goes live, she helps our side. So, but all joking aside, I'll tell you, the concentration camp comment is disgusting. My grandmother that raised me, I remember living in her home and looking at her arms, and she had cigarette burns up and down her arms because she was in a concentration camp in Eastern Europe. Her sister died in a concentration camp. Let's not forget that we're at this crisis along our border because the Democrats are refusing to shut down the border. They're allowing people to flood and invade our country, and they're the ones that are at fault for this open border policy that's leading to these issues. So, but when we start talking about the field of Democrats, which was the second question, I'll tell you, these Democrats have never been so extreme in a campaign cycle. I can't believe it. People like AOC are moving the Democrat Party so far to the left that their goal and their message this cycle is that they want to not just fundamentally change America, they actually want to destroy America. From our economy going to socialism, for our immigration policy going to open borders and providing safe harbor for criminal illegals, to killing unborn babies, where it's not just good enough for them to kill unborn babies. They're actually talking about killing babies after they're born. So this Democrat Party has gone so far to the left. Right. I think the independent voters and moderate Democrats are going to flee the Democrat Party because people like AOC.
Now, I was very impressed with President Trump's handling of the crisis with Iran. It would have been easy to launch that military action, but he made the decision that to end the lives of 150 people, essentially, for an unmanned drone being downed, it didn't warrant that kind of force. And it was quite remarkable to see people who was outraged that he may be too harsh on Iran are now arguing he's not harsh enough. He just cannot win when it comes to the media and the political pundits, can he?
No, this is a guy that if he has 2 scoops of ice cream, he gets criticized because he didn't have 1. And that's what the media, really, that's what the media focuses on. So when you talk about Iran, Look, he had apparently the planes were in flight. He was about to execute on it, but then he pulled back last minute. And I think what he was doing there is when you go to negotiate a deal, what you have to do to be a good negotiator is you have to start so far on your side and let them know that there's consequences if you don't get a deal that you like. So with Donald Trump getting so close to attacking or responding to Iran, I think they know now that he means business. So I think that'll force them into an agreement, that'll force them into a better deal. And I'll tell you, Donald Trump, what he's done as president that has gone totally unreported because the media just wants to talk about tweets and what he had for breakfast. And, you know, they want to pop him every chance they get. But what goes unreported are the actions and the strategic steps that Donald Trump has done to make America win at every step of the way while he's been president.
Christian Ziegler, fantastic chatting to you. Thanks so much. And listen, we here are big fans of Donald Trump and thrilled that you're doing such a great job. He's lucky to have you on his side, and I hope we get to chat to you again soon with so much more we could talk about. And keep up the great work there in Florida. Thanks, Christian Ziegler.
I appreciate it. Thank you so much, guys. Keep up the good commentary. We appreciate your support, and hopefully I can get over there and visit with you guys at some time.